Her daughter is trapped in the dark. What her Rottweiler brings leaves her speechless. Ask yourself this question. If you had to choose between your phone and your pets in an emergency, who would you pick? Sarah didn't have that choice. Her phone was dead. Her husband was 120 miles away. Her 2-year-old daughter was trapped somewhere in the house, crying. No way to call for help. Just her and 3 animals everyone thought were useless. A fearful Rottweiler, a dramatic Husky, and an arrogant cat. But these 3 would pull off acts of pure intelligence that would save this family twice in one day. The second time, nobody would have noticed until it was too late. This story unfolded on an ordinary Tuesday in the quiet suburbs of Portland, Oregon. Our protagonist is Sarah, a 32-year-old stay-at-home mom, and her daughter Lily, an adorable 2-year-old with the energy of 10 kids combined. Sarah's husband, Michael, had left for a business conference in Seattle that morning and wouldn't return until late evening. Sarah found herself alone at home with Lily and their 3 pets with completely opposite personalities. First, there's Oliver, an orange tabby cat with the attitude of a king. This cat acts like he owns the house, and the humans are only there to serve him. He spends his days observing everyone from high places, silently judging every decision made in this home. Then there's Maya, a beautiful Siberian Husky with piercing blue eyes. Maya is what you might call a canine diva. She talks constantly with those ridiculous sounds Huskies make, and if you dare ignore her for even a second, she puts on a performance worthy of a dramatic film. And finally, there's Max, an imposing 110-pound Rottweiler who looks like a professional guard dog but actually has the personality of a big teddy bear. Max is afraid of everything: vacuum cleaners, plastic bags moving in the wind, even butterflies. Yes, a 110-pound dog who hides behind the couch when a butterfly enters the house. That Tuesday morning, Sarah had the brilliant idea of doing a baking activity with Lily, chocolate chip cookies. Simple, right? That's what she thought too. At exactly 10:15 a.m., Sarah pulled out a huge 10-pound bag of flour from the kitchen cabinet and set it on the counter at what seemed like a safe distance from Lily. Big mistake. Sarah turned around for exactly 3 seconds to grab eggs from the refrigerator. 3 seconds. She heard Lily's excited little voice shout, "Mommy, Mommy, look, it's snow!" Sarah spun around. Her heart stopped. Lily had somehow managed to climb onto a chair, grab the 10-pound bag, and flip it completely over. We're talking about 10 pounds of flour spread throughout the entire kitchen, in Lily's hair, on the floor, on the cabinets, and especially on Max, who had been sleeping peacefully right next to her. The poor dog got up, now entirely white, resembling a ghost Rottweiler. He shook himself vigorously. Fatal error. A cloud of flour literally exploded throughout the kitchen like a powder bomb. Visibility became almost zero, and that's exactly when Maya charged into the kitchen. The Husky saw the apocalyptic scene and did what she does best: panic in an extremely theatrical manner. "Aroo! Aroo!" Maya began running in circles through the flour, creating new white clouds with each step. Meanwhile, Oliver observed this entire comedy from atop the refrigerator with that cat expression that clearly said, "You're all pathetic amateurs." Sarah, covered in flour from head to toe, took a deep breath. It was 10:52 a.m. Her kitchen looked like the inside of a flour mill that had exploded. "Everyone outside!" she yelled, opening the back door. Max and Maya rushed into the yard, leaving perfect white paw prints on the hardwood floor Sarah had cleaned the day before. 40 minutes later, she was still vacuuming. By 11:40 a.m., Sarah finally finished cleaning. She had flour in her ears, in her hair, probably even in her lungs. Lily was now in the living room, settled in front of her favorite cartoons. Max and Maya were in the yard, probably digging holes. Oliver was sleeping on the couch. Sarah told herself she really deserved a coffee. She went to the kitchen, started the coffee machine, and closed her eyes for exactly 10 seconds to breathe deeply. That's when she realized something horrible. The silence. Complete silence. Every parent knows that silence, that terrifying silence that means one thing: your child is doing something very dangerous. Sarah ran to the living room. Lily wasn't there. "Lily!" No response. "Lily, sweetie, where are you?" Still nothing. Sarah's heart was now racing. She frantically checked every room. The bathroom, empty. Lily's bedroom, empty. Her own bedroom, empty. Then she heard something, a muffled sound coming from the basement. "Meow." But it wasn't Oliver. It was Lily's voice, imitating a cat. Sarah rushed down the basement stairs, 4 at a time. The semi-finished basement was filled with storage boxes and old furniture Sarah and Michael hadn't yet organized. Then she understood. Lily was locked inside an old wooden wardrobe they had moved down a few weeks ago. "Mommy, I'm stuck. Can't get out." Sarah pulled on the handle. It didn't budge an inch. The lock was completely jammed. "Okay, sweetheart, don't worry. Mommy's going to get you out. Stay calm, okay?" "Okay," replied the trembling little voice. Sarah ran back upstairs. She needed her phone. She had to call someone. Michael, the fire department, anyone. She searched everywhere: kitchen, living room, bathroom. Then she realized with horror where her phone was. In the pocket of the pants she'd changed after the flower disaster. In the washing machine she'd started at 11:20 a.m. Her phone was completely soaked. It was now 12:05 p.m. Sarah had her 2-year-old daughter locked in a wardrobe in the basement, no means of communication, and her husband was 3 hours away. She was on the verge of a panic attack when someone knocked on the door. Sarah opened the front door. It was her neighbor Margaret, a 68-year-old retiree who lived 2 houses down. "Hello, Sarah. I was just passing by to ask if you had any flour to—" "Lily's trapped in a wardrobe in the basement and my phone's broken and I need help now," Sarah interrupted her. Margaret's face changed instantly. "My God, show me." They ran down to the basement. Together they pulled on the door with all their strength. It refused to move. "We need tools," Margaret declared. "My son left his toolbox at my house. I'll be back in 5 minutes." She ran off toward her house. That's exactly when the sky decided to add drama to the situation. The sky darkened in seconds. A violent storm hit the neighborhood. Boom! The first thunderclap shook the windows. "Mommy, I'm scared. What's that?" cried Lily from inside the wardrobe. In the yard, Maya began howling. Storms were her worst nightmare. Max barked loudly, begging to be let in. Sarah ran upstairs and opened the back door. Max and Maya rushed inside, completely soaked. Maya went into absolute panic mode, running everywhere through the house, leaving muddy water trails everywhere. Max shook himself violently, water splashing on the walls and furniture. Oliver, who had been sleeping peacefully on the couch, woke with a start. He saw 2 wet, hysterical dogs charging toward him. His reaction? He climbed up the curtains. 20 pounds of terrified cat scaling curtains never designed to support such weight. The curtains tore and fell. Oliver landed directly on Max's back. Max barked. Maya howled. Lily cried in the basement. Boom! Another thunderclap, even louder. And then, the worst. The lights went out. Total power outage. The house was plunged into darkness. It was 12:23 p.m. Sarah heard Margaret shouting from outside. "Sarah, a branch fell on my car, but I'm coming anyway." Sarah went to the window. Indeed, a large branch had broken from the street tree and fallen on Margaret's car. Margaret came running through the pouring rain, soaked to the bone, clutching her toolbox. "Let's get that little girl," she said, determined. They descended to the basement, using Margaret's phone flashlight, which showed 6% battery. In the near-total darkness, they tried to dismantle the wardrobe lock. While Sarah and Margaret worked frantically, Sarah heard something strange above them. Claws scratching on the main floor, then the sound of something falling. "What was that?" Margaret asked. They heard heavy footsteps, dog paws slowly descending the basement stairs. In the dying light of Margaret's phone, now at 3%, Sarah saw Max appear in the doorway. And he was holding something in his mouth, a flashlight. "Max!" Sarah took the flashlight. She turned it on. It worked. "How did this dog know exactly what we needed?" Margaret whispered, completely astonished. But Max hadn't finished his mission. He approached the wardrobe and began sniffing all around. He scratched gently near the floor, then raised his head upward, staring intently at the door hinges. He looked at the hinges, then at Sarah, then back again. "The hinges!" Margaret exclaimed. "We don't need to force the lock. We can remove the hinge pins and take off the whole door." With a screwdriver and much effort, she removed the 3 hinge pins. The door finally opened. Lily was there, curled up, cheeks red and wet with tears. Sarah took her in her arms and held her tight. They all went back upstairs. The storm was starting to calm. Maya, who had been hysterical, was now lying calmly near the basement door, as if she'd been standing guard the whole time. Sarah took Lily to the living room to comfort her. Margaret went to the kitchen to make them tea. And that's when the second incredible event occurred. Meow! Oliver meowed loudly, sitting in front of the pantry door, meowing non-stop and frantically scratching at it. "What's with that cat?" Margaret asked. Sarah opened the pantry door and smelled something that made her blood run cold, a burning smell. At the back of the pantry was an old power strip where she usually plugged in the mixer, bread maker, and other appliances. The power strip was black, charred, the beginning of a short circuit. "Oh my God," Margaret whispered, approaching. "Sarah, if the electricity had come back on with that outlet in this condition—" She didn't need to finish her sentence. They both knew what could have happened. A fire. Sarah looked at Oliver. The cat looked back with his usual expression of feline arrogance that seemed to say, "You see, this is why I observe everything from my perch. Someone has to be the brain of this operation." It was now 1:25 p.m. The rain had stopped. A ray of sunlight pierced through the clouds. Lily was safe in her mother's arms. The 3 animals surrounded her, forming a protective circle. Margaret looked at the scene, tears in her eyes. "Sarah, I've lived 68 years on this earth. I've seen a lot of things. But what I saw today, these animals saved your family. They knew exactly what to do." Michael came home that evening at 7:30 p.m. When Sarah told him the whole story, he was stunned. The next day, they had a professional electrician come. The expert confirmed that yes, that power strip would very likely have caused a fire if it had remained plugged in when the electricity returned. "You were very lucky," he said. "Someone was watching over you." Here's the real lesson from this incredible story. We adopt animals thinking we're saving them, offering them a home, food, and love. And that's true. We do all that. But what we often forget is that they save us too. Not just in dramatic moments like this, but every day, in ways large and small that we don't even notice. Max, the gentle giant afraid of butterflies, had the intelligence and instinct to know exactly what Sarah needed in the most terrifying moment of her life. Maya, the dramatic diva, whose howls actually helped Sarah keep track of time and stay focused, even in chaos. And Oliver, that arrogant cat who seems not to care about anyone, who was watching all along, monitoring invisible dangers. This story reminds us of something important. Animals aren't just pets, they're family members. They understand us in ways we don't always understand. They protect us. They love us unconditionally. And sometimes, in extraordinary moments, they literally save our lives. If this story touched you, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications. We share true stories like this every day, stories that will make you believe in the magic of animals, family, and the extraordinary moments of ordinary life. Leave a comment below and tell me, has your pet ever saved you from a dangerous or embarrassing situation? I'd love to read your stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with another incredible story.